We can see me, and we're back. Yeah, I just switch over to Streamlabs because I really hate trying to learn like new stuff with like being live because I'm like trying to do everything and trying to figure out all this good stuff to do. So as I was explaining earlier on the feed, I think I actually named this one uh, uh, elevated episode, but whatever. Okay, so yeah. I want to start doing just more videos because like I it takes a lot, man. It really takes a lot to be able to put these videos up. I gotta be honest. So first things first, let's go ahead and get into it. You can see I'm kind of, looking like a caveman hermit. That's for a number of reasons. Shut a couple of things. I showed it earlier, but you can see like I got like two servers here that I'm working on. I got you can't see it to the side as much, but a lot of my kit stuff for a client. Um, my computer's gone. Y'all would not believe that my building got struck by lightning like last week. Yeah, so I had to get a new modem. That pushed me back, and then I had to send in my desktop because anything that was connected to the modem got fried. So it fried my network port on my desktop. So ain't gonna be no sound check today because there's no computer to sound check it. So hopefully you all can hear me clearly enough. But yeah, before I get into it, so yeah, why hasn't there been a new Get On Call episode? I think the last one I put up was in April. And I was just like, yeah, in about 2 weeks I'll have a new one. Well, I've been running to some hiccups, to be honest. Running my business, building this game, Math War. Math War is coming out. Gonna be should be registering that name, I guess. I know it's a corny name, but it's the only thing I come up with. It's kind of cool though. But the concept's kind of cool. Hiring people. I finally hired a couple of people. So far they've been working out great. Got a couple of character designers that are working on. We're working on some concepts and some characters. I think that you all will be happy with them. So there's that. Doing some contracts, engineering contracts. Like I said, I'm fixing these servers that are behind me. That. Also, the Get On Code episode I wanted to do was I wanted to do a facial recognition Get On Code tutorial. But the tutorials I've been encountering, most of them have been shit, to be honest. I finally found one that I think is gonna be good. But I'm spitting everything. But it's pretty long and it's somewhat complicated. So I'm gonna have to break it down into multiple videos. Sort of like what I did with my first web scraper video, which actually is doing a lot better than I thought it was. Like I was a little bit surprised. Like, wow, that's one of my first web scraper videos is like first or second most viewed videos on my YouTube. So I'm like, oh, well, I was a little surprised. I'm happy because at the end of the day, I really want people more to go watch the Get On Code videos than I do the elevated episodes. So, yeah, because I believe those are the ones where I'm actually teaching people how to code. Those, I think, even though in my elevated episodes I teach about technology trends, like I'll talk about quantum computing, which I will actually eventually do a quantum computing get on code tutorial episode eventually. But with elevated, the channel's called Elevated Engineering. I'm the Elevated Engineer, but the episodes are kind of elevated. I talk about technology trends. I did one about Neuralink last week. But I also talk about whatever the hell I'm interested in or what catches my eye. So, yeah, there's that. So that's really why I haven't put up a Get on Code, because I've really been working on it behind the scenes, and it takes so much time. Like, one 20-minute video, Get on Code video, probably takes me of actual like coding developing the time probably takes me like 30-40 hours of solid coding development, probably longer than that, really. Because I have to code it, I have to test it, debug it, then I have to film myself doing it. So it takes a good deal of time. So yeah, so but like I said, this new facial recognition one I got, the good thing about this one is you're going to be creating models that you can use for prediction models that you can use later on to get you a higher percentage of prediction. Basically, your software is being able, so, like right now, my camera, my Sony ZV-1, it's identified, like it has a little squares over my eye. Then I move, it goes to the other eye. It's identifying my face. Like it identifies the shape of me as a face, right? So there's actual facial recognition software within my camera. So that's kind of what I'm doing. The reason, again, why it's taking so long, because it's actually a lot more advanced than the previous videos I've done. And again, the tutorials I've been looking at have been shit. So, also, I wanted to talk about, let's pull it up. I'm going to be going through that Hres 151, aka the Anti-Asian Pacific Islander hate bill. Because the Boule class, I seen one that, what's that motherfucker's name? Roland Martin. He's talking about, oh, the bill helps everyone. No, the shit specifically says Asian American Pacific Islander, which is actually interesting because if you think about it, Russians and Eastern Europeans are technically Asians. So yeah, I didn't think about that. So yeah. So I want to go ahead and get started. I'm reading this bill. I think it's only like 6-7 pages. So let me go ahead and get started. Okay. Here it is. So I wanted to go over this to show how easy it is for other groups to get, bills that benefit them, as opposed to the niggers. All right. Let's keep that right there. Okay, so Hres 151, and again, it's only a few pages. Okay, so All right. So let's go. Condemning all forms of anti-Asian sentiment as related to COVID-19. I'm sorry, it's just kind of funny when you're black, but not really. Okay, so those are the House members. I'm sure you're gonna see nothing but people who support it, including the CBC, etc., etc. Okay, so resolution condemning all forms of anti-Asian sentiment as related to COVID-19. Whereas 23 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders account for 7% of the population in the United States, whereas over 2 million Asian American and Pacific Islanders are working on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic in healthcare, law enforcement, first responders, transportation, supermarkets, and other industries, like Peter Liang. But whereas the use of anti-Asian terminology and rhetoric related to COVID-19, such as the Chinese virus, Wuhan virus, and Kung flu, have perpetrated anti-Asian stigma, whereas the use of anti-Asian rhetoric has resulted in Asian Americans being harassed, assaulted, and scapegoated for the COVID-19 pandemic. It's interesting because when you look at the black folks that they was doing that too in China, they was scapegoating they was blaming the COVID-19 on the Africans and kicking them out the country, destroying their businesses. But okay. Whereas since January 2020, there's been a dramatic increase in reports of hate crimes and incidents against those of Asian descent. I'm waiting to see how this benefits black people as well, because that's what the Roland Martins in the Boulay class was trying to say, but they were blatantly lying. Whereas according to a recent report, there are nearly 3,000 reported cases of anti-Asian discrimination related to COVID-19 between March 2020 and December 31st, 2020. It wasn't even a year. Whereas in incidents of anti-Asian violence occurring in March 2020, a woman wearing a mask was kicked and punched at a New York City subway station. 2 children and adults were stabbed at a wholesale grocery in Midland, Texas. A couple was assaulted and robbed by a group of attackers in Philadelphia. And a 16-year-old boy was sent to the hospital after being attacked by bullies in Los Angeles, California. Pretty much the existence of black people since the day we got here. But okay. Whereas since the start of 2021, there's been a surge of anti-Asian attacks targeting predominantly elderly Asian Americans. Whereas on January 30th, 2021, an 84-year-old Thai man, Vicha Ratanapak, if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize, died from injuries sustained from an unprovoked assault while on his routine morning walk in San Francisco. Whereas in January 2021, a series of attacks occurred in Oakland's Chinatown targeting Asian American seniors. The victims include a 91-year-old man, a 61-year-old man, and a 55-year-old woman, who were all violently shoved to the ground in 3 it's interesting because I'm going through these attacks. There's not enough paper to describe all the. And I'm not. It's at the Oppression Olympics, but it's interesting because this bill is like 7 pages long. In order to talk about the attacks that's happening against black folks based on racism, you need a whole goddamn dictionary, encyclopedia. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but. Whereas in February 2021, victims of anti-Asian violence have included a 61-year-old Filipino man who was attacked and slashed across his face on the New York City subway. Remember when that girl at BART station got her throat ripped out? The black girl got her throat ripped out by some white supremacist guy. I don't even think they filed hate charges against him, but okay. A Filipino woman in her 80s was punched in an unprovoked attack while riding a trolley in San Diego. A 52-year-old Asian woman was attacked and forcefully shoved while waiting in an outside bakery in Flushing. Whereas anti-Asian racism has also resulted in Asian American businesses being targeted for vandalism. Whereas there are approximately 2 million Asian American-owned businesses that generate over $700 billion in revenue and employ millions of workers. Whereas more than 1.9 million Asian American and Pacific Islander older adults, particularly those older adults who are recent immigrants or have limited English proficiency, many face even greater challenges in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, including discrimination, economic insecurity, and language isolation. Whereas the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, recognize that naming COVID-19 by its geographic location or linking it to a specific ethnicity perpetuates stigma. Now, how many people know or have heard about the West Nile virus? Do we understand that West Nile is in Africa? Or Ebola? Ebola is a place in Africa. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. There you go. Whereas in 2015, the WHO issued guidance calling on media outlets, scientists, and national authorities to avoid naming infectious diseases for locations to avoid stigmatizing groups of people. Just sit and absorb that. It's interesting, isn't it? West Nile disease. Okay. Whereas on February 27, 2020, the Secretary of Health and Human Services stated ethnicity is not what causes the novel coronavirus, and that it is inappropriate and inaccurate to call COVID-19 the Chinese virus, even though it basically came from Wuhan, but okay. Whereas on February 28th, 2020, Dr. Mitch Wolf, the Chief Medical Officer of the CDC, said stigma is the enemy of public health. Whereas on March 10th, 2020, Dr. Robert Redfield, the director of the CDC, testified that the use of the term Chinese coronavirus is wrong and inappropriate, even though you typically identify a virus from its origination, but okay. Whereas the Secretary General of the United States called for international solidarity and an end to any ill-founded discrimination on outbreaks victims. Whereas on January 26, 2021, President Biden issued a presidential memorandum condemning and combating racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the United States. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives, 1, condemns and denounces all forms of anti-Asian sentiment, including those relating to COVID-19, recognizes that the health and safety of all Americans, no matter their background, must be of utmost priority. It's interesting. In a country where we don't even have universal health care or Medicare for all, and shit, damn near a third of the country doesn't even have health care insurance. That's interesting. Okay. 3, condemns all manifestation and expressions of racism, xenophobia, discrimination, anti-Asian sentiment, scapegoating, and ethnic or religious intolerance. Okay. 4, calls on federal law enforcement officials working with the state and local agencies to A, expeditiously investigate and document all credible reports of hate crimes, harassment, bullying, and threats against the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities in the United States. It's interesting because I'm neither Asian American nor my Pacific Islander identifying, yet I can't get law enforcement to investigate and document all credible reports of hate crimes, harassment, bullying, and threats against me. So, okay. B, to expand collection of data and public reporting to document the rise of incidents of hate crimes related to COVID-19. C, to hold the perpetrators of those crimes, incidents, or threats accountable and bring such perpetrators to justice, including through investigation and prosecution. Who do you think they're going to be investigating and prosecuting. It ain't gonna be white folks. You know who it's gonna be. The niggas. Okay, so 5, calls on the Attorney General to work with state and local agencies and Asian American and Pacific Islander community-based organizations to prevent discrimination? Huh. So we're gonna have like the Asian version of the red coats, or what do I call that? The red hats. Where are they, out of New York? Huh. Wonder who they're going to be targeting. And expand culturally competent and linguistically appropriate education campaigns on public reporting of hate crimes. 6, calls on the Secretary of Health and Human Services in coordination with the COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force and Asian American and Pacific Islander community-based organizations to issue guidance describing best practices to mitigate racially discriminatory language in describing the COVID-19 pandemic. And 7, recommits the United States to serving as a world leader in building more inclusive, diverse, and tolerant societies. Yeah, right. This is America. A, by prioritizing language access and inclusivity in communication practices. And B, by combating misinformation and discrimination that put Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders at risk. I believe that is it. So that's it. That's Hres 151. I mean, you gotta laugh, kinda, cause it's like, really, guys, like, you really think, like, hold on, let me get this thing back open. Like, really, like black folks can't have even that. Like, I don't know what this even means, to be honest. It just feels like it feels like this is just going to be used to, like, give extra shit to Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders that nobody except white people have. The only people who don't get discriminated against regularly are white people. But you know what's crazy? Hold on. Oh God, what was I reading that on? Ugh, God. Oh, I want people to believe that I'm just saying stuff to say stuff, but I seen a poll on most discriminated, most groups that are discriminated against in the United States. You know who number 1 is. Like, it's gonna be black people. It's always gonna be black folks. But what's interesting is because a lot of the hate crimes that occurs against black folks, either whether it's from a police officer or whatever white supremacist, or really a lot of Asian people, when you go and you see them beating up women, be like 4 or 5 dudes beating the shit out of a black woman, or kids, Latasha Harlins. But what's interesting was a poll I seen. God damn, I forget the name. But anyways, it said number 1 was black folks, brown folks. But number 2 was actually white people. Yeah, white people are actually the second most discriminated against group in America. And if you think about it, white women are gonna be discriminated against. Jews, like, you know, the Jews that came from Europe, because we're not gonna get into the whole 13 tribes and all that stuff. But Jews, for the most part, Eastern European Jews, whatever, are also white, identifying. White Latinos are white. But if you think about it, it's kind of true. Like, yeah. Now, granted, they get discriminated against by other white people, but it's still like it's still them getting discriminated against, which is fascinating because if you go down the list, I think Hispanic and Latinos was number 3, and then like Asians were down like number 4 or 5 on the list of most. So it's like, okay, I gotta pull that up because it's definitely, God, I had posted it on my Facebook a little while ago, but it's just interesting, man. It's interesting what it's like to be black in America. Like they gave us a fucking holiday, Juneteenth, which we never even asked for. The thing is, black folks been celebrating Juneteenth probably for over a century, easily over a century. Like we just been celebrating, you know, every summer. Like, you know, when I was growing up in KC, every summer we would have our Juneteenth celebration, and you know, we didn't need nobody else. We didn't have. There was a couple cool white dudes who was there, but for the most part, like we didn't have no other groups of motherfuckers, you know, coming in and trying to celebrate Juneteenth with us and shit. We didn't need it. We still don't. To be truth be told, I said before, Juneteenth, all Juneteenth as a federal holiday really does is give white people the day off. Cause I mean, we were celebrated on like the second to last weekend of June, so it would be like the 18th or the 19th, whenever that weekend will fall, is when we will have our whole Juneteenth celebrations, barbecues. I mean, all the dudes be trying to, you know, because you know there's gonna be girls there, you know, girls dressing how they do it. Like we had the barbecues, we had the parties, we had the music. Downtown KC, I forget what's called. It's been a while, but yeah, man, we've been celebrating Juneteenth for like forever. So that's what we get though. We get George Floyd statues, which only thing is gonna happen is white folks and other people are gonna deface them every 6 months. Just like they do, they shoot up annually. They shoot up Emmett Till's memorial, and they gotta replace it. That's all they gonna do. You know, we was somebody, but that's what black folks get. You know, some shit we was already celebrating. We never needed permission to celebrate Juneteenth. Or you know, now if you had the day off, you had the day off. If you did, you didn't. But we knew what it was already. So, you know, them signing this Juneteenth bill, federal holiday. Again, that's just giving them more days off. And again, we got the descendants of the actual slave masters benefiting from Juneteenth. This country is so fucked. It's kind of, it's funny, but it's not, because you just like, this country has no idea what's gonna happen. Like, I know I don't. Like, they have no idea what's gonna happen. Black folks not gonna keep taking this. Like, we just not. Now, granted, they just gave Derek Chauvin 22 and a half years for, I think, the first charge. I think they have yet to sentence him for his other charges, but I mean, we'll even see if he even serves a decade of that. But put his ass in there with the gorillas, man. put his ass in there with the gorillas in Gen Pop, because I ain't gonna be sitting up here, you know, feeling sorry for it. You seen that they gave his mom. If you put him in jail, do you put me in jail? And put her ass in jail too. Fuck out of here. You raised him. So, but that's what we get. That's what black folks get. We get you know, symbolic shit that don't mean nothing. Instead of the shit we do need, which is reparations. We need an end to qualified immunity for. The thing is, it's not. We don't want the good cops to go down. We want the bad, racist, asshole Nazi cops who abuse their authority and are looking for a reason to kill, you know, niggas. But that's what we get. We don't get bills. You know, we don't get stuff that actually benefits us. Everybody else do. I guess it is what it is. So when black folks start acting out, don't say that the elevator engineer didn't tell you, because it did. So yeah, that's what we get. So, you know. But moving on from this Hres stuff, I do want to talk a little bit more about me, I guess, taking my YouTube a little more serious. I was talking earlier about me being able to add more on and do more videos. Like my elevated episodes that I do on Saturday nights are pretty scripted. Like this one I'm doing right now, there's no script. I only kind of loosely touch on the topics other than the Hres 151. As you can see, I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had a haircut. It's been a hell of a week, but I'm training for this next BJJ competition, right? And I'm going really, really hard. Like training 3-4 times a week, gym 2-3 times a week. Sometimes, well, not even sometimes. A couple days throughout the week, I do doubles, or not doubles. 2-a-days where I go to the gym, in the morning, early afternoon, and then in the evening I do my training. So that's another reason that I've been behind on a lot of stuff. Like doing a video game is take a lot out of me too. That takes a lot. Like doing Unity programming. I mean, probably won't do any Unity tonight, any development tonight, because I gotta get up. I gotta go to training early in the morning. And I'm gonna run after that. But after that, I'll probably do some Unity. But yeah, developing this engine takes a lot. Running a business takes a lot. It is what it is. What I asked for. But yeah. So, but anyways, back to this BJJ tournament. Doing the new breed. Miami Championships. It's gonna be down at the airport convention center, near the airport. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot, man. Anybody who's ever trained for a fight or a competition knows what I'm talking about. Like, yo, it takes a lot, So it takes everything. But man, it just got me thinking. I've been going on a bit of a tangent, but whatever. It's fucking Friday night. I'm just having a conversation with the 0 viewers I got in here, but whatever. Sure, people will see it when I put it up a little later, but yeah, man. It got me thinking, man. Watching Clarissa Shields do her thing, or when she went from boxing. I watched her first MMA fight. I was inspired. I'm like, yeah, this chick, she was on her Ultra Instinct shit. So I'm just like, yo, that's really what you want, But Deontay Wilder, this fight with Tyson Fury, man. If y'all haven't been paying attention, like I've been putting a lot of stuff on social media, man, because I'm like, man, there was some funny shit going on in that fight, man. My man Tyson Fury's gloves did not look right. The way Deontay's ear was bleeding from the inside is not typically how ears bleed when your eardrum has been busted. How do I know? People's, and I've seen this because, when loud noises happen, like loud explosions, when you have a busted eardrum, it doesn't like gush blood like that. It bleeds, but it doesn't gush like that. right? His ear was gushing, which means it was scratched on the inside. And how do you scratch somebody like that with regular gloves? Then the whole thing where the video cuts out in the locker room before the fight for like 2-3 minutes, enough for him to. There's some funny shit going on with Tyson Fury and his camp. This is not the first time he's been accused of cheating. If you go back and you look, he's been accused of popping for drugs and steroids multiple occasions. Okay? Deontay Wilder has never been accused of cheating. Ever. And I think that this man just might have a complexion for the protection, because that shit don't look right. But that just going back to my shit, like, man, this fighting shit is like, man, they'll try to kill you if you let them. That's why I understand why Floyd was like, he still is, why he's like, nah, you gotta have testing, random testing. I want to check them gloves. Remember when he checked Maidana's gloves and the filling had been pulled out? These motherfuckers will cheat. And I hope Deontay takes that shit seriously. Like, I hope he's as serious about checking Tyson Fury as Floyd Mayweather was with checking all those dudes. Because these dudes will fucking cheat. They'll kill you in that ring. Look at what happened to Zab Judah. I think his case is still ongoing. But dude was known. I forget his name. When the last dude was filed. You remember when Zab Judah went into a coma and everything? Dude was known for popping for drugs. So, I mean, that just got me thinking about fighting. I love doing it. It is what it is, man. I understand Deontay's resolve. And I'm telling you, man, looking at Deontay and his interviews, I get it. See, they trying to make it seem like Deontay is crazy, or he's off, or he's any of this shit. I just think he's so focused on this shit and so about it that they not gonna see him coming. I'm picking Deontay Wilder, of course, to win, but I'm telling you, like, I've gone back and watched a bunch of Deontay's fights, right? I think Deontay Wilder got comfortable with that big right hand just laying niggas out. But if you go back, you watch his old fights, even when he's fighting Malik Scott. First of all, he was bigger. He was bigger back then. Second, you see him bobbing and weaving. You see him giving body shots. You see him, you know what I'm saying, boxing. Not just like, giving him that boom, cool, boom, and then throwing him down with that big right hand. I think Deontay is like dead ass serious. And I think that the reason he don't want to talk to the media like that, because he know the media ain't shit. He know the media go demonize him. He know the media ain't saying nothing about Tyson Fury's allegations. They asked Tyson Fury point blank, and I seen him in an interview. Did you cheat about the allegations of Deontay Wilder? He straight deflected. He didn't say no, I didn't. He just said, no, I got these big, whatever he said, these big, 2-ton hands and blah blah blah. I don't think Tyson Fury has knockout power like that, to be honest. I think he'll lay you down. He'll win a fight, but I don't think he got knockout power like that. Why? Because he said himself he needs to be over 300 pounds to knock out Deontay Wilder. If you can't knock out Deontay Wilder at 270 and you need to get to 300 to knock him down, that means you ain't got the power. You need that extra weight. Deontay Wilder will knock anybody out, and he's only 260, 270. So I don't think that Tyson Fury got power like that, and I think them gloves might have been loaded, or there was some funny stuff going on with them gloves, because you could look at them. Them shits don't look right. I got gloves. They're in my car right now. I ain't gonna go get them, but I got gloves. I've been using for a minute. But I would never use my gloves in a professional fight because I've probably had it for over 2 years now. So they wouldn't even let me. But even my gloves don't go in. Like you can see, just go back and look. You can see his knuckles, in one of his gloves. Like don't nobody hit that damn hard where you hit somebody, you could see somebody's flat knuckles. He's doing the hook. Like the damn glove is at a 90-degree angle. I've punched many a times. I ain't never seen no glove when you coming in for a hook. The glove is on this side and your fist is like right here. That's yeah. This is how you should punch or like this in the MMA world. So I'm telling you, man, this some funny shit going on, man, and I think that all will be revealed when this fight comes up. But Deontay Wilder, my man, you need to go ahead and be on that ass like Floyd be on that ass. Don't give him no breaks. Random tests, all new gloves, inspect the gloves right before the fight, inspect the gloves during the fight, inspect the gloves. Because remember what his trainer said. His trainer pointed it out. There's a video of Tyson Fury's trainer where he's like, yo, he hit me, but it didn't feel like a regular hit. Like, dude just as big. He was like, he said it felt like he had something in his glove. Turns out I don't know what they doing, but it's looking like, allegedly, it's looking like they're somehow using I think it's horsehair or something, whatever. Somehow they're spreading out the filling, and somehow they're taking out them glove filling, the stuffing, and he's basically hitting you with very little padded glove. It might be like damn near an MMA glove. We talk about like 4 or 6 ounces. Like, bro, that's you go die. The fact that Deontay went that long is a testament to that. He got a dent in the side of his head from a 10 or 12 ounce boxing glove. Bro, dude's getting knocked out all the time in boxing. You don't get dents in the side of your head from a 12 ounce or a 10 ounce glove. You get knocked out, sure, but you don't get a dent. The only way you get a dent is if somebody's knuckle is directly hitting your temple. So the shit is funny, man. The shit is funny. I'm gonna be watching the fight, but I just hope Deontay. I know he could beat him, but I want him to make sure that these people are playing fair, because if they can get away with cheating, they will. And the media ain't gonna say nothing because they on his side. We know what this is. They tried to lynch Deontay, I believe, because of the shit he talks about. That's what I believe. So that's my take on it. From a fighter who looks at this type of stuff. I think Deontay go win. So I think that's what the deal is. So that's it for today's episode of Elevated. My special Friday night episode. I'll also be doing an episode on Saturday, a little more well researched. Except I think I'm actually going to start doing the episodes earlier, because 11 p.m. The reason I was doing 11 p.m. because I was in school at the time and it was hard and I'd be so tired on the weekend. But I think I'm gonna start doing them a little earlier, maybe in like prime time, 6, 7, 8ish. Y'all let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment for me. I appreciate it. I gotta get up early tomorrow because training day. The competition is July 17th. New breed. Be there. I'm be there. Go for go. I'm winning. Period. All right. That's it.